Hello and welcome back to Joe Shoots Film. Today's video is going to be about shooting 620 film. So I actually own two 620 cameras. I have the Kodak Brownie C 6-20, a very basic camera that uses the old 620 film, as you can see by the cool little illustrations from inside, as well as the Kodak Duo Six-20, which is a fun little piece of kit that pops away and stores in your pocket very nice and easy compared to this clunky bit of metal. So introduced in 1946 but discontinued in 1957, the 620 Brownie Model C made by Kodak was a popular f11 100mm lens with a single blade shutter. Going for anything between £5 and £30 these days, it's a fun little toy. It offers a bulb mode or a 1/50th shutter, so no in between there. It has two rangefinders that you can use at waist level, one landscape, one portrait, and to progress the film you just use the wind lever, hoping not to open the box when doing so. By that I mean, when you're doing that, you can sometimes accidentally pop it out like that, and then your film spool pops out. With the shutters that I was on about, you have a small slider by here for the 1/50th of a second, or the bulb. It's a bulb. Hold it open as long as you need to. And the 1/50th in and out. To load the camera, you just open it from behind with this metal clip. You pull out that bit I was just on about, and this metal piece comes out. I have a spool loaded in there, it looks like, of loading spool. You will have to find some of these online. I'll get to that in a moment. The camera film just then loads around it like this. There's a part by here that says key side, so obviously you line that up with that key that we just pulled out. I can remember how to do so. In like that. Pop that back in. If you want to find it, there we go. Put it back up. Because it's an old piece of kit, I did, on the time that I took it out, put some black tape around here just in case there was any light leak. You can see your film progression through the red circle by there. The viewfinders, as I stated, are by here, and the other one is by there. The Duo 6-20, although a lot older, manufactured and used in the 1930s up until the Second World War, features a lot more customizability. Produced from 1934 to 1937, it originally sold for about $57.50, whereas I found mine in a charity shop for about £20. It features an f3.5 compo shutter and is able to open itself up anywhere between 1 second and 300th of a second with a bulb and T mode. It is a great little rangefinder focusing disc on the top that is clear to use, and a pop-up viewfinder on the top, which for a rare thing of its time is two plated with one slightly magnified, so what you see is what you're going to get. So when I talk about that, pops up like that, and you can aim down the lens, portrait, landscape, but oops, hard to show, this front one is slightly magnified, so when you're looking down there it is actually slightly blown out of proportion, so you can see what you're going to be shooting. To open up the actual camera itself, there's just two small buttons on the side. This is your shutter. The left hand one pops it out, but as you're doing it, as you can see by here, it is slightly bent. You want it to be nice and have that clicking noise. To focus the camera, you use this knob in the top right hand corner, and you have a small needle on the top focusing between infinity and 3.5 feet. Just reset that, because sometimes when you set it to 3.5 feet it doesn't want to shut away. Bit annoying that. The shutter speed is adjusted on the front like so. Like I said, you've got anything between T, bulb, 1 second, 2 second, 5th of a second, 10th, 25th, 50th, 100th and 300th of a second, and your aperture is quite annoying to set. It's this just about see it, very small little needle by there, and it just adjusts it on the top. Sometimes can be quite hard to see, but anywhere between 3.5 and 22 of an f-stop. To activate the camera, there is a small pin needle just by there. So if I set it to, for example, I set to 1 second so you can hear it. You then pull this like that. That means it's activated. This little needle by here moves. And then you just hit that shutter button I was on about earlier. 1 second. To progress the film, you just roll it like that. And you can see what film number you are on by here. So closed and open. Alright, I am adding this in post-edit. Basically, ignore these lines, the chemicals are running out a bit. When I said about loading it and lining up the film to the small windows, I believe I've been loading it up to the wrong one. Because if you notice, I have about 1 frame image different in each of the images. By there, by there, by there, by there. As you can see, this is the colour film I did. You have those strange gaps in each of those sections. I just wonder if it's where I've lined it up wrong in the camera. The range finder focusing thing that I was on about on the top, so just by there. Oh, if I'm shooting between 25 and 5 feet, that's what I want to use to work out my f-stop. To pop it away, you just squeeze this metal bar and push in. To load it, you just pull the handle out like this, pull that down, and it just pops open like that. Cool little illustration, like I said earlier. Film loads in like that. You have a, sometimes a bit fiddly these are, especially when you're pointing at a camera. So you load your film spool into here, load it onto there, bring it on, close it, make sure that's closed tight, and there you have it. So, 620 film. Can't actually get it anymore. It was manufactured between 1932 and 1995. It's very similar to 120 film, however the spool is actually slightly smaller. So that's a 620 spool. I'll go and grab a 120 so we can have a bit of a comparison, and I'll show you how it's done. So I have some Cinestill 800T on 120, which I'm going to open just for the purposes of this. I've done another video on actually loading 120 into a 620 camera. I'll get onto what you can do these days. So there is a 120 film, and this is a 620 film. As you can see, it is ever so slightly smaller. The size difference is quite considerable, and you can't actually load this into a camera because it just does not want to go. Too wide, too big. I've done another video on basically cutting this down into shape so you can load it into a 620 camera, but it is a lot of effort. I do forewarn you. Alternatively, you can still sort of buy 620 film online. I get this from sort of AliExpress, one of them. It's a ISO 100 made in China. Basically, it is a 120 roll. It's been loaded onto a 620 spool, and as you can see along the top, it still says 120 on there, even though it is on a 620 spool. Plus, the spools they do give you are metallic, so nice and reusable. So you only need to buy one. And you can if you're buying them off online, you can just reuse them. But like I said, I found this one in a charity shop for a few quid. Couldn't say no, just looked like a bit of fun. I like taking this one out every so often, although it does get you some questions asked when people say, oh, is that an old camera? Yes, it is. It looks cool. Cool little bit of kit. Nice, like I said, nice and small. When it's folded away, fit it in any pocket. Doesn't have to be a bag. It can just hide away nice and neat. I have taken a few photos, which we'll get to after this. The only thing is, scanning them is a nightmare, which is why I've made this setup with a scanning bed, bright light, and I can now sort of do it, even though, again, bit of a nightmare. Plus the first time I did it, didn't go too well. This one, I have to admit, I do not like as much. It is actually my great-grandparents, I believe. I found it in my granddad's attic along with the Agfa, which I'll pop a video about that up in the corner. The viewfinder, even though when they were originally listed to be sold out in the world, everybody said the viewfinders were amazing, but I found that they were not the best. There's quite a lot of parallax, is that what it's called, where the lens sort of curves over, and it's really hard to see, to be fair. I'm trying to look at the door behind you and it's quite difficult. I found the horizontal one, the landscape one, was actually a little bit easier. Don't know why. Another bad thing about it is when I was taking a few photos on it, the front also came off, where those mirrors that I was on about are actually located, and you could see the shutter go there, which, you know, not the best when you're out and about shooting. I thought it would have ruined the photos, but luckily it didn't. Again, like I said, I wrapped tape around it. So although it's free for me, these days they can be a few quid. I've seen them in charity shops before now. Stupid pricing on them, so if you can find them on eBay, if you really want to use one, I would definitely do that. Again, when I was taking it, a lot of people asking, is that a really old camera? Yes, it is. Cool to use, but I don't think I'm probably ever going to use it again. It's going to be on display up there next to my Canonet, where it was before this video. Keeping on top of it as well, the lens has actually looked like it is clouded over, but other than that, probably won't use it again in my whole honest opinion, but this one I probably will. So overall, if you are looking to get into 620 photography, do it the way where you can buy it online. Don't bother wasting nice 120 film, scratching it down, because sometimes it gets jammed, sometimes it creates dust inside the lens, and it is a bit of effort, to be honest. I do have to admit that. If you're going to do it this way, have good fun with it. Wouldn't recommend a box Brownie, just because they are a bit, well, at least the Model C. They are a bit clunky. You don't have much wiggle room with it when it comes to exposure and aperture setting, all of that. However, one like this, you do. Even though, again, like I said earlier, it is older, but you do have more control over the settings on this front panel here. If you really did want to, or if you found an old 620 camera, say in your grandparents' attic, work it out first. Do the research, see if it's worth it. If not, shop around, see if you can find one like this. Antique shops always have ones of these, similar ones in the corner with the bellows that often take 620 and 120, because a lot of them back then did, just so they could be marketable to the Kodak audience. So there we have it. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you found this informative and useful if you're looking to try a bit of 620 photography, if you found an old 620 camera. Hope this finds you well and that you use the information gained from it. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.